Hello everybody. Roger says hey. Scarlett says hey too. She's chilling behind me on the floor, as you can see. Okay, so I didn't really expect to be doing this today, but I should have seen it coming because I've had a lot of you guys asking me to do it for quite a while now, so here we are. Alright, so I have some hot chocolate with some marshmallows on it because it is a cold, kind of, well, coldish, rainy day outside today. Just kind of like one of those chill days where you want to stay inside and just take a nap all day. Also, if you didn't know, I have an arm injury. I posted about it on Instagram and Patreon, but I haven't let anybody on YouTube know yet. I've got a sprained elbow. Basically, I think it popped out of joint and popped back in. An unleashed dog ran up to Scarlett and me while I was walking her the other day, and then they started to get into a tuffle, and I was trying to separate them. They knocked me to the ground, and I reached out my hand to break my fall, and my elbow bent kind of backwards, like a way it's not supposed to, and the ligaments got pulled, so it's not in a sling anymore like it was, but I still can't do a whole lot with it yet. I've been left-handed for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, and that's been interesting. Okay, but anyway, enough of that. Back to this video. If you watched my video on the Jerusalem, I think it was, which is kind of one of the unofficial national anthems of England, I think. It showed a picture in the crowd where some people had some flowers up, and I was like, what is that about? A few of you answered that question for me, but KJ Dempsey said that about the flowers, England's is the red rose, Scotland's is the thistle, Wales is the daffodil, and Ireland's is the shamrock. That makes sense now why I sometimes see red roses associated with England. I didn't really understand that before. Also in that video was a really long comment by 82 Clive, which I don't know if I'll read the whole thing here, but I found it really interesting. He or she says that the reason Jerusalem is advocated as the national anthem for England really applies primarily to sporting events centered on what we call the home nations, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Well, this is my first time seeing them referenced to as the home nations, but it makes sense. This goes back to around 150 years ago, at international matches, football, rugby, etc. were only played amongst the home nations. In around 1856, a Welsh song, I apologize to all of the Welsh right now, Hen Wlad, or Fi Nhadau, Nhadau, was composed and it rapidly became the unofficial Welsh national anthem. In 1906, it was sung before a Welsh international rugby match in New Zealand. It was immensely popular with the Welsh crowds and started being sung at all of the Welsh sporting events. And then it kind of gradually became the official Welsh national anthem, but I think I read that it's still not quite the official one. It's kind of still the unofficial, so I'm not sure. Everybody from Wales needs to let me know. But England, Northern Ireland, Scotland were still stuck with God Save the Queen. By the 1960s, the Scottish sporting events started using the Flower of Scotland, and then the Northern Irish folks started using Danny Boy, and the poor English are still stuck with God Save the Queen. I guess we know this person's opinion on God Save the Queen. So he explains, or she explains, that that's why some people would prefer to use Jerusalem, I guess, at sporting events. 82 Clive also suggested that I try and listen to the Welsh national anthem, always sung in the Welsh language. It's very stirring. And then I remembered back to the videos I did where I guessed the national anthem songs, and Melkor, who has actually posted this same comment I don't know, 4 or 5 times now, says, can you react to the national anthems in their original languages with English lyrics? And I've had a lot of other people also ask me to do this, like Stu Pew Pew, who I see occasionally down in my comments, and he says, I love for you to watch the national anthems translated. Some of the verses are pretty eye-opening with the lyrics. So basically, with all of that, I have decided to check out the Welsh national anthem. Now, I would like to do them for Scotland and Northern Ireland, and I guess Ireland also, because I have some Irish heritage in my family. But anyway, I decided to start with Wales, since the daffodil is the flower that stuck out in the last night of the proms. So what we're gonna do is I am going to watch the national anthem that's gonna be sung in Welsh, but it's gonna have also the lyrics in subtitles, I guess, in English, so that I know what they're singing. This will be interesting too because I don't think I've ever really heard the Welsh language spoken or sung before. I also don't know if I've heard this national anthem outside of that game where I guess the national anthems, I think it was played during one of those videos. You know, they only played like little 10-second clips, so I haven't heard the whole thing. But also piggybacking on that, since the singing of the national anthems is like a big thing before sporting events, I did want to take a look at that. So we're gonna watch also the Welsh national anthem being sung live in a crowd at a sporting event, and I don't know if it's Wales versus England, but I don't know if it's rugby or football, I can't remember. So anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the Welsh national anthem. By the way, before we start, I just want to say, Wales, you guys have a really awesome flag. That's really cool. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the video up here because I have some questions I want to ask about this. First of all, just first impression, this is a beautiful, beautiful national anthem. I would definitely say it is probably one of the most beautiful out there of all of the countries. I mean, I haven't heard all of the national anthems, but just listening to this, I would automatically just put it probably in the top maybe 3. Maybe it's 1. I don't know. I would like to listen to more national anthems and see how they are. But what I like about it also is not just the melody of it, but the I was paying attention to the lyrics as well during this, and there seems to be a nice mix of some history and just admiration for the country in general, like its landscape and so forth. I am really curious about the history behind this too, because I don't really know the history of Wales. I know that you guys have told me that it's kind of like still part of England, but not really. Like, I'm really confused about that, honestly. Is Wales considered part of England, like a separate part of England, or is it its own country? Like, I really don't understand that whole relationship, I don't think. So you guys can explain that to me. Also, if there are any good videos that would explain the history of Wales, let me know. As far as like looking at the lyrics, "O land where the minstrels are honored and free," that makes me think that some minstrels were not honored and free previously to Wales being established. Is warring defenders so gallant and brave. So what is that referring to? Who are they warring against? For freedom, their life's blood they gave. So they're fighting against an enemy for freedom. Is it against England or is it against some other foreign power? Not sure. Now, this also caught me off guard. So, first of all, Wlad, I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly. It was kind of hard to hear it, like how exactly it was pronounced with them singing it. But why is the second one not capitalized? Why is only the first one capitalized? Because this is the name of a is it a country? And also when you get to the second verse right here where we have the name Wales in it again, it's also not capitalized. So that's just a really, I don't know if that's just the person who did this video or if that's actually grammatically correct in the Welsh language. And I don't know that grammatical rule. So if you guys know Welsh, let me know if that is correct or not, and why that is. This line was also really interesting to me, "While sea secure, the land so pure." Now, Wales borders England on one side, and then it's got the sea on the other side. What is that line referring to exactly? That would imply to me that they are wanting to be secured from foreign invasion, possibly, because the enemy would have to come over the sea. And I love this line. This is my favorite line in the whole thing. "Oh, may the old language endure," which it definitely has, it seems like. It seems like Wales is the part of the UK that has kind of its own language. I think Scottish and Irish kind of deviate from English a tad bit, you know, but it's not like this. But the other thing that this line does for me is it really shows me how proud the Welsh are of their own language and their own culture, and they don't want that to disappear, which I think is really cool. Okay, so we have this line, "Though foemen have trampled my land neath their feet." So that kind of sounds like maybe a foreign power has invaded, possibly. Is that what that's referring to? "The language of Cambria still knows no retreat." Is Cambria? Oh, okay, so Cambria is a name for Wales, being the Latinized form of the Welsh name for the country. Okay, Cymru. Okay, so it's just kind of like they're referring to Wales still with saying that. Okay, so the language of Cambria / Wales still knows no retreat. That's true. The muse is not vanquished by traitor's fell hand. So again, we're talking about some historical event, it seems like, in Wales, but not sure. Guys, I don't know if you can hear, but the rain is coming down really hard right now. Okay, so that'll do it for that portion where we watched the national anthem with the lyrics. Appreciate if you guys could just kind of expand on some of that stuff down in the comments, kind of explain some of the lyrics maybe, because I just find it, again, a very interesting anthem to listen to, just melodically, just musically. It's really, really pretty, but the lyrics are also intriguing. Okay, so now we're going to watch it being sung before. I think this is football, it could be rugby, not sure. Wales is about to play England, and they're about to beat England, apparently. Really interested to see what this is like now in a stadium with thousands of people. This guy's already crying. This is rugby, okay. the guy's got the... You got daffodil hats. Wow, they broke into octaves. That's impressive.
What a contrast. Shane Williams, who has provided so much joy through rugby, and a tribute to the memory of Gary Speed, who brought the nation to a standstill in sadness when...
Alright, well, that last bit was definitely, you could see the pride of people from Wales singing their national anthem, just the passion and the emotion behind it, and they were singing at the top of their lungs too. I'm not sure who that player was that they were showing. He started crying before it even began, and then the commentators at the end seemed to also single him out as if it might have been like his last game or something. So I'm not sure if it was an emotional moment because of the anthem or because of something having to do with the game and his career. So you guys will let me know also about that. Was not expecting the daffodils though in the crowd, so that was interesting. I do need to watch a rugby match though. It seems to have kind of its own atmosphere that's a little different than football maybe. Anyway, I really enjoyed both renditions of this today. Just learning what the lyrics are between the Welsh national anthem and just hearing it too for the first time. Just hearing how pretty it is again is probably up there in the top 3 prettiest national anthems, I would think. You guys can let me know what you think. Do you put it up there at the top? I imagine if you're from Wales, you probably do. I also think that if you're from Wales or you know the history behind the words, that it probably is a little bit more meaningful also, as I think any national anthem or any song is, to be honest. I can't wait to read your comments below. Hopefully you guys can enlighten me on a lot of this stuff. Again, if there are other videos that would kind of piggyback on this that I could learn from, let me know as well. Thank you guys for the suggestion. We are going to be taking a look at more national anthems, so I'm not going to just stop with Wales. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And also you can check out my social media, Patreon, Discord, PO Box, email, all of that stuff down in the description and the pinned comment. Roger here, and I thank you guys for watching as always. Scarlett has moved, so I can't show her on the Scarlett cam. Scarlett says thanks as well, and we will see you guys next time.